have got Phil Steele's offense, defense, and overall forecast 2022 Miami right in front of me.
Talk to me. I want to hear this.
Let's see what your response is here. And everybody, we had Phil Steele on earlier today live, so check that out.
What?
It's channel.
It's not like the third year in a row you've had him, though. You usually get a chance to get him on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's a very nice guy. And
let's see if I still feel that way after you read this.
If I want to brag a little bit, I'm going to clip off a few things that he had to say as promotional videos.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so he always likes to backtrack. So he always likes to lead up to the current by going back to say, okay, this is how we got here. So he says in 2019, Miami had just 25.7 points per game. This is on offense. And 367 yards per game. Quarterback De'Ara King was added in 20, and my computer projected 33.1 points per game and 441 yards per game. And they almost hit those perfect at 34 points per game and 440 yards per game. King tore his ACL in the bowl game. Last year in his first 4 versus FBS foes, Miami had just 20.8 points per game. Then Van Dyke took charge, and Miami had 36.7 points per game the last 7. This year, Van Dyke is back and will be working behind an improved offensive line and has plenty of VHTs. He writes in code sometimes, so you got to figure out what that means. I'd have to look that up, what he means by that. Has VHTs in the skill positions, maybe veterans? I don't know. My computer is calling for a jump from 34.1 to 37.6 points per game. It's got him scoring 3.5 more points per game this year.
That wouldn't be bad, especially because he was talking about the last 8 games where TBD was taking over and we were doing that. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. I mean, there are going to be plenty of games on their roster. We're going to need more points than that, Mark.
Yes.
I don't know if 37 offensive points would be great. But it's an average, so there's going to be some where you shoot above it, sometimes you shoot below it, sometimes you shoot way below it, but you hope the defense shows up that day. Tell you what, you want to beat Clemson, you're going to need probably 42, 45. You want to beat Clemson. Oh, yeah. You would have to,
not with my offense played last year.
True. But why not aim for the sky?
I hear you. VHT, very highly touted top recruits. Okay. That meant. All right. Defense. Miami had 9 starters back last year, but allowed 390 yards per game and 28.4 points per game, which was disappointing as my computer had forecasted them for 24.7 points per game. Poor tackling was a major problem all year. This year, new defensive coordinator Kevin Steele should get the tackling problem corrected, and they had a big and deep defensive line that should help the overall defense.
That part, I agree 100%. If everyone were to stay healthy, Mark, this would be the most that would be 7 defensive tackles. That's the deepest I can remember Miami being. Miami has 11 cornerbacks on the roster right now. Of those 11, 9 of them are 4 stars or higher. Okay. Safeties. We have 14 safeties. I'm like, it's a deep defense. Now, here's the thing. Safety is split up, so it's free and strong. So you got 7 and 7. They also add star in there too. Star/striker, which is our new striker position. So they're counted in there. So it's really like 4, 4, and 3 if you were to add all the safeties up. But I look at what he's saying is, to be honest with you, you win the game up front. And if you're able to rotate and at least go 2 deep in quality, if your ones are up here, but your 2s are way down here, that's a big drop off. But if your 1s are up here, your 2s are just here, your 3s are just here, that's not too much of a difference. And we can rotate in and out. Make sure you never have 2 3s on the field at the same time, but 2 2s, 1 and a 2, 2 and a 3, you mix it up. You can really get after things on that front. and really harass the quarterback. And like I said before, I give credit to what Coach Diaz and that staff did in 2017. And that was our method of winning, harassing the quarterback, getting in the face of the quarterback, influencing the throw of the quarterback. You know, the reason why they say the game is won and lost in the fronts is because those are the two things that influence the most important person on the team, the quarterback. You know, if you don't have a good offensive line, you can't protect them. We can't get things done. If you don't have a good defensive line, he sits back there and pats the ball, and eventually someone is going to pop open. Deion Sanders can't cover for 8 seconds. That's just how it is. Now, if we have to blitz, if we have to send edge rush or safety nickel blitzes off the end, if we have to shoot linebackers, now we're affecting our coverage because we can't do our job on the front. So I 1,000% get it. 1,000% get where he's coming from, and I agree. We have to take the steps up defensively, and it starts in the front with the depth and the size that we already have up there.
Okay, so his overall take here is Miami got the call as my number one most improved team in 2020 after the magazine went to press. So this was his prediction for 2020, just to clear that up. Then after the magazine went to press, Clemson was added to the schedule. Miami opened 8-1, was number 9 in the country with only a loss to Clemson. They did not finish well with a blowout loss to North Carolina and a close bowl loss. 8-3 dropped to number 22. If the ACC had divisions, Miami would have won the Coastal in 2020. Last year, with De'Ara King back at quarterback, expectations were high. King was not 100% when the OFY, I'll have to figure out what that means, was after 3 starts. Miami missed a game-winning field goal versus Virginia, then was at the UNC 16, but a tip pass was intercepted and a 3-point loss to fall to 2-4 for the first time since 1997. Van Dyke led them to a solid 5-1 finish, with Florida State getting an improbable comeback win. Miami was 3 plays away from 10-2, but at 7 fired Manny Diaz. Miami's 1-10 in bowls since 2006. New head coach Mario Cristobal played here on the offensive line and is looking to return Miami to the glory days. Last year, they were plus 46 yards per game in the ACC. This year, they are much improved at both the offensive and defensive lines and have one of the nation's top quarterbacks. They do have to face Texas A&M early and also draw Clemson on the road, but out of the Atlantic Division. They do get the big coastal games versus Pitt and North Carolina at home, and all 9 sets of my power ratings call for double-digit wins.
You know, Phil, we're a good guy. He's a good guy. You know, he's still a good guy.